Is jealousy and envy, are those emotions just specific for females? Because do men really even have that? Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist, and I want to answer this commenter. Is this predominantly a female thing? The copying and trying to steal men from other women is so common with some female friends. I don't see that too much with men in that way. Really? It's interesting that you bring that up. I actually see jealousy in men way more than I do with women, jealousy and envy. I feel like that's a lot of what material stuff is based off of, like material goods, wars, all that kind of stuff is all based off of that. So, and I'll use an example here. Pornography also. I feel like they're huge in industries based off of male envy, and somebody has been able to turn it around and profit off of it. So one industry would be the shoe industry. How many times, especially when I was coming up, I don't know what it's like now because I don't really, maybe I'll let you guys educate me on that. But I remember when I was coming up, I remember when guys used to stand outside in a long line to get those new Jordans that came out. I saw them on so and so's feet, and I gotta get those, man. I gotta cop those, and now I'm spending hundreds of dollars on some shoes just so I can look and feel and be coveted, just like Jordan or whoever's got the new fabulous shoes. And so and if anybody saw the Cat Williams interview, last year, he educated us on the phenomenon about men in the industry and the women and how that was a thing and how people covet, making so much money in the industry and what they're willing to, the extremes that they're willing to go to get it. I also think in a lot of cases, I won't say all, but in a lot of cases, the type of women that men go after is so that men can be envied by their friends. When it comes to sex pornography, a lot of that is, I want to be like that. I want to have women on me like that. I want my size to look like that. I'm going to go to the gym and I want to have my genitalia look like that genitalia over there. And so on it goes. The truck industry, I think, is also another one where who's got the biggest truck, who's got the biggest twin turbo. And part of me, every time I see that, on the back of a big truck, it makes me wonder if a woman was behind that genius marketing. That twin turbo, people with these huge trucks and things like that. And I've seen people compete over trucks. I'm a country girl, so I grew up in the country. So I've seen people compete over trucks and toys and things like that. Men are more likely to couch it as friendly fire or friendly competition, but really it can get really deep. It can also get dangerous. There's tons of movies, made about envy and jealousy and insecurity of men. And I'll name, just a few of my OG favorites, that comes to mind is like Juice, New Jack City, some of those older movies, really sort of hammered it in. And I've worked in corrections, I've worked with inmates for a long time. I've told you guys that I saw it all the time there, like where I'm jealous if I don't get attention. Men are now competing with women for attention, both in and out of custody. And that has been a huge topic of conversation on social media. I actually believe that, men who are with women, I actually believe a lot of like extramarital affairs come from jealousy and insecurity and envy. It is, I'm going to get my lick back and knock you down a notch. I'm going to humble you and I'm going to humiliate you and show you that I'm the man, that I'm the prize, that whole conversation topic about who's the prize. That is competition and envy. And what happens when a man doesn't feel like he's not the prize, and a man who's pathological in nature? And you guys have seen enough of these news stories now, so I don't have to rehash it. So I actually see it more so in men, and this sort of this battle of egos and what's in the pants and so on and so forth. And again, I want to clarify, this is not every man, but a lot of what males behaviors do is to make other men covet what they have, be jealous or envious. I've got the prettiest girl in my arm. I've got the biggest house. I've got the best car. I've got all this other kind of stuff going on. And then men can actually do that and do that quite frequently with women. Be careful with that. So yes, it's not talked about in the same way. Women are much more emotional, and if they're, if women are, if they like their friends, right, that's, you could pick up on that energy. However, women who are male centered will look at this like this is normal, and when it's actually not. So there's that. And by saying emotional, when I say women are emotional, women are much more outspoken. We can pick up on it. We energetically, we internalize that and we feel that, and we either like it or we don't like how it feels. And based on where we're at, we move differently, right, around the person. Whereas men like competing with other men. Women, not so much. I think that's the problem. Or like with women, it can become much more dangerous to have them in your circle. But it also can happen either way with men as well. So, and I've actually seen it become much more dangerous with men, because men are about that life. They're going to take it there. And they can be less inhibited when it comes to thinking about the consequences. So yeah, just a quick note there. Hope that helps. Thanks so much for saying that.